Hey guys, welcome back to the Mo Trades channel. In this video, we're gonna go over how my losses actually end up helping me make money, and we're gonna get right into it. On top of that, we're going to start breaking down the charts daily. I keep getting messages about that, and I actually think it's a great way to hold me accountable, showing you guys the trades, why I'm not taking trades some days, and then two, it'll hopefully help you on your trading journey. But the past weekend, if you saw the last video, you guys would notice that we had that short started on XRP. It actually ended up hitting our stop loss, and it was a bigger margin position. So the loss on this trade was negative $652.89, as you can see here. And that is 100% okay. Why? Because it is a limited loss, right? It's a huge leverage position, so it gives me a giant position size. And what you never want to do is have that big of a position size and then sit here and be emotional about the loss. I took the loss right away and moved on with the day. And then as you can actually see, I paused on trading for a couple of hours. Then we found one more little opportunity for a short on XRP. And again, we took that short. It was at the $2.35. So we were down to here, I believe, and it ended up stomping us out. So it took just that jump up. No, I think it was over here. No. It was over here. There we go. And it took that jump up before it actually moved down to our percentage, but that's okay. And the only negative here was I was not sitting at the charts ready for the next position. So as you can see here, we have not taken a trade since then. So yesterday we actually took 0 trades. That's why I didn't post a video. And that's why I want to do the daily market update, because the goal here is not to just get clickbait. The instead goal is to build as much value to show you guys the trading journey and hopefully make you guys better traders, because that's what I needed when I first started. So I'm hoping that this helps as well. So here's what I know. The 2 losses that I took are not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. This position, right? If it had not been stomped out, would have been a 2% win, or roughly even a 1.5% stop loss trailed win. And you can see that here, right? So like if we would have been able to maximize on that one and even had only gained 1.5% on it, the position itself was $250 in margin. So $250 at the 500x is actually 1,250 per percent. So we had 1,250 divided by 2 is 625 plus the 1,250. So the profit on this trade would have been $1,800, which is a 3-to-1 on our loss, right? Because we lost roughly 600 with the fees, probably about 700, but our gain would have been 2.8 to 1 in that ratio. And that's actually a very, very, very good trade. And you always never want to let the losses kind of just hold you back from the next day. Here's one thing I've really learned about trading. The loss you take or the win you take is not congruent to the next loss or the next win you take. They are not one and the same. So if you lose 100 times, it doesn't mean you're bound to win one more time, right? And if you win 100 times, it doesn't mean you're bound to go on a losing streak. It's just not how that works. Probability doesn't work the same here for trading because it is not a random gamble. You are following your strategy and you are slowly entering the market and waiting it to play out to your advantage. And today, the opportunity would have been great for an entry here. Even if we opened up XRP, we see that we bounced off of our long-term support resistance line, and we had been shorting because of this line, but now that we've completely broken it, it has become obsolete, and instead you want to look for the opposite piece of the trend. So we could have taken a long on here, and you guys, today it is just ripping. So I'm really sad that I didn't enter it earlier, but again, it doesn't matter. There's a million opportunities. This chart's always going to move. There is never a day where the market stops moving, and that's the benefit of crypto, right? So but today it's at a 4.5% gain so far, and what I want to do is find if we're going to find a good short opportunity or if we're still about to be in for a good long position. So the best way to do that here is to see if we get any sort of confirmation. Like this is not a bad spot. And the reason you can say that here is, look, once you take a ray or a horizontal line and you place it, right? We could even place it here. We can see that this became support, this became resistance, again support, turned resistance, resistance. So this could be a very good resistance point. And on top of that, with my normal Fibonacci Bollinger Band strategy, which is basically hitting here, it is telling me that it's time to go in for a short. So what I want to do is just give it a little bit of time and wait on a confirmation to see if we print a big red candle. And if we do, what I'm going to do is take a short position, and how I'm going to play this short position is really simple. I'm going to probably enter around here, and I'm going to shoot for about a 1.5% gain. I understand that the window is huge, but what you don't want to do is get greedy and just chase the wins. You want to have a good position so that you can replicate it over and over again. And then I'm going to use the Fibonacci retracement tool here, and you can see I went from the bottom of this start of the run to where I'm assuming right now is the top. Again, that's a subjective assumption, so you do want to wait until the market can give us that confirmation. And then once we hit up here, if I see that red candle, this will be my Fibonacci mark, and I'm going to shoot to get down to the 0.5 or the 0.618. And it doesn't always end up that way, which is why we use trailing stop losses that will just follow through here as we're watching the market either enter in our favor. And if it doesn't enter in our favor, that's okay. We're going to take the smallest loss possible and then find the next position available, right? The next trade. Because like I said, there's a million trades available in the market. You just cannot let your losses ruin your trading journey and make you stop, because that's the only way not to actually make it in this game. And a lot of people think, to be the best trader, I used to think that, to be the best trader, you need to win every trade. That's not how the market works. Just like a regular business, trading is a business. And I'll make a full video soon depicting exactly how that comes to be. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you do not miss that out, because I'm going to go into detail. I want to explain to you guys basically the physics and the economy of running a trading business, because in trading, you are your own best person, best partner, or your worst enemy. And what you need to do is understand what position are you playing in the trading game right now, and how can you make sure that you can benefit yourself rather than lose in the long run, because you are going to take some losses. You just want to make sure over time that those losses dwindle in size while letting your runners run for as much as possible. And yes, I am trading a lot of XRP, but at the same time, I do have the other charts open, waiting for a good position in Solana. I'm also looking at Ethereum today and Doge. Doge is probably one of my favorites to trade as well. It's just a little bit more volatile, so you never want to use the full 500x strategy. You're probably better off on this one using only about a 250x size. And you guys, I do have this little sheet that breaks down for me how much I'm willing to risk on a trade, right? So the way you want to look at it here is if you have a stop loss, right? And your stop loss has to be, so for looking at the chart, let me just give you a quick example. Let's say this is our chart, and let's assume that Doge does this and it's hovering right here, right? So now we can set up a short position here, because that's where we're at in this example, right? Let me move this over. So that's where we're at in this example. And our stop loss needs to be above the last high, because if we break through this, we know that that trend isn't going to continue right away. And it still might. It might just liquidity sweep us, which is very, very normal. But again, our losses are so tight that our winners are going to be able to outdo those losses every time, right? So if something like this, I see here that I need a minimum 0.72%. So what I usually do is go to the spreadsheet, take a screenshot of it, you guys, just so you can see it. And when you're looking at it here, if we need that 0.75%, our leverage should be under 100x, which is what would risk just the margin amount that we're playing with. If you're willing to risk more margin, then yes, you can always do a higher leverage position. Like you could still do a 500x, but you need to understand that if you do a 500x and your stop loss, like in this example, is roughly 0.8, I'm rounding up by 0.08. So if it's at 0.8%, it's a 5 times multiple. So basically, if our margin's $100 we're risking at a 500x, you would multiply that by 4 to understand that in this trade, we would lose $400 here, but we do stand to gain thousands of dollars on this win. So that's kind of the best way to really break down how losses have helped me actually make more money in trading. I keep my losses as tight as possible every time. And like I said, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, because the next video that I've got planned is going to be a full breakdown on how the trading business works. And it's going to take me a bit to make, because I want to kind of gather all the information, give it to you guys for free, and hopefully set you up in a position where you're able to print your own money from the market. On top of that, I'm going to be doing daily just market updates. And I think that that's actually a better way to really build value directly for you guys, but at the same time, hold me and myself accountable every day to be looking at the charts. And anytime that I'm looking at them, I should be able to make a quick recording, because it doesn't take long to do your analysis, specifically if you're doing it every day. And that's really the goal of trading. You don't need to quit your career to do this full time. You can 100% make a lot of money trading while still working. And the people that end up actually quitting their career at first to just fully go into trading, they put too much pressure on themselves to make money. And when you do that, you're actually setting yourself up for failure, right? So if you are security driven, use that to your advantage when you're trading. If you are money driven, at the same time, use that to your advantage in trading and not make trading your main money source unless you're at a position to do that, where the losses you take are not going to define you or break your day or break your week, because that's actually the biggest mistake that traders make, right? They believe, I'm just going to quit, I'm going all in. And it's not a bad idea if you've got the capital to withstand the losses over time and know that it's not going to impact your emotion. But if you don't, you're better off being smart about it and using trading as a new way for you to find an alternative source of revenue and giving it time to play out, right? Because the market is not in our control, but what is in our control is how we play the market, what positions we take, where our entry is, how our stop loss and our take profit is set up, and more importantly, how much leverage you're going to use on the fire, right? How much fuel you want to put on that fire to take the risk. So I do hope that this video helped you guys today. I will see you tomorrow on another video. Reminder, just make sure you're subscribed to the channel and following, because I will be doing these daily updates and you guys can watch the journey, and we can see XRP is ripping. So it's breaking through this area. So we're pretty much not going to be in for a short right now. What I do want to do is wait and see if we get to maybe this liquidity area. And here's another thing. If we get a little bit of a pullback, what I'll start chasing instead is be a long, right? Because right now the market sentiment is changing. We are breaking change of characters. Like here, we broke this change of character. This would have been a great entry for a long if I saw it this morning, but it's really late here, right? So do understand, you need to be prepared to shift with the market. Otherwise, you're just kind of screwing yourself, and you don't want to be like that, specifically in trading, because it's one of the most important businesses that involves patience, commitment, and most importantly, consistency. You got to control your emotions when you're trading. So again, I hope this video helped you guys. I will see you on the next one.